what I'm going to be doing is immersing that same soundtrack that you just heard there onto a vial of blood. So here you see an incubator, and in that incubator you see the small vial of blood, and also a small speaker. You see the speaker. So what we're going to be doing is literally playing that music to the blood for 20 minutes. And that is the period of time that Professor Songchul Ji suggested as the minimum period of time for a biological effect. After we've immersed the blood in the music, of course, we also have blood, a control vial of blood, which is in the Faraday cage, which I can probably show you here if I move the camera around. You just see here the Faraday cage. If I can open the door, there you see the door opening of the Faraday cage. Yeah, so in there will be the quiet, that is the quiet environment, and will there be another little vial of blood, and then we'll see what happens when we measure it with the cell counter, which you see here, this yellow item, and we can literally count the red blood cells and just see what results we find, which I'm really looking forward to. Anders and Cacina, would you like to start?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I like your style, guys.
We are such a, whoo, it's gonna happen now. Yes, Mama.
The energies have already been directed to this moment, so it's not as though it begins now, right?
All right. So, dear friends, it's time for our experiment. And for the next 20 minutes, Cacina and I will make music, focusing our intention on the vial of blood in John's laboratory. And we begin with a field of sound. The music many of you already know from our previous experiment. And we're going to transition into Dream of the Blue Whale midway, so that it's the same music that Cacina and I performed live to the blood cells in John's laboratory in UK when we recorded the whole thing for Tsipi's movie. So today, just like last time, we invite you to tone along with the music, but whether you're toning or not, most important in these next 20 minutes, individually and together, is that you open your heart and send your love to the blood cells in John's laboratory. See the blood receiving your love. Okay? So with this, let's start.
Tell them that they have to mute them.
And I just want to say that someone has not been muted, but you'll find that out. All right, here we go. All right. Okay, all right. You should mute your microphones.
So, John, we'd like to ask you what came up just now while Anders and Cacina were leading us in this beautiful melody, music, chant, and meditation.
Well, that was a really sublime concert. Thank you so much, Anders and Cacina. Gorgeous music. And I would just like to explain a little bit, before I actually start the experiment itself. So what we've been doing now is, of course, in the last 20 minutes, is immersing the blood both in this incubator here and in the incubator in the Faraday cage, which I think I showed you earlier. So blood, of course, is the carrier of vital life force. And it's a liquid crystal, which is comprised mainly of water, of course. And it brings oxygen and nutrients to our cells, and it removes waste products. Blood is also a vital part of our immune system. It creates a key defense against pathogens and supports all the processes of healing in our body. Now, in this experiment today, if we can demonstrate that specific sound frequencies support healing in our bodies without the use of drugs, then we could explore and expand upon a completely new paradigm in the field of music medicine, just as been prophesied by sages, both ancient and modern, who've said many times, sound is the medicine of the future. So in this experiment, we'll add a unique element to the one that you saw in the one field film, where the highly positive results were created, of course. And in the experiment today, we're going to be measuring the combined intentions of each one of you, sending love to the blood in both places, and the one, of course, as I say, one in the incubator, one in the Faraday cage. And the Faraday cage incubator is also electromagnetically screened. So it's going to be extremely interesting to see whether the blood in the Faraday cage has been affected in any way by the combined intention of all of you. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Anders and Cacina, and I would basically now need to get on with testing the blood, literally with the blood counter and so on. So it's going to be interesting. Thank you so much.
I think it's Tippy.
It's Zippy.
Anders.
We know her.
Yeah. We thought Tippy wanted to talk.
Can we see Anders and Cacina, please, John, with the lab of John?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
We will see
And
all
we
the time
need
the lab.
Tippy.
Okay. Cacina and
They
John.
were just
and
commenting
Anders.
that they're recognizing that CP joined us, so
Hi,
Yes.
Tippy.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Mora.
Oh my God. I can so well remember how it was being there when we just had played in John's lab, and no one knew what would happen. And he was performing the very same test.
Yeah, exactly.
It was so exciting to be there. And you were there, and Eli was filming everything, and it was just so exciting, and we didn't know what John was going to be doing.
Yeah,
But as
I
we
want
see
to
him
tell
now-
you. I want to tell you about the very special moment during this time, and it's we were watching John doing exactly what he's doing now, and when he put the vial of blood from the quiet room, from the quiet place, there was not live cells, yeah. So I was thinking that, if there was not any live cell, what will be in the vial of blood with the music. So it means that if there will be live cells, it means that what? Your sounds can make the cells alive again.
That was the moment.
Yeah.
I remember that moment very clearly.
Oh my God.
Because he took out the blood from the protected box first, and then he didn't look very happy, and he said, sounds like, oh, no, this is not good, this is, and we thought maybe something was wrong, and he just said, well, there's so little life in this blood now that I fear a little for that maybe also the blood that got the music maybe is not so good. And then he took the other vial of blood. And the process of going through and measuring and counting the alive, fresh blood cells in the sample that had gotten the music when we had given the concert, just like now, like you see behind him. When he started counting the blood cells, after a long while, he all of a sudden, he said, it cannot, there are too many blood cells.
This can't be right.
This can't be right. There are too many blood cells. And we didn't understand. And then at the end, Johnson said, with a big smile, I have to change my protocol. There's too many cells for this instrument to count them.
That are alive now, yeah.
Remember that moment?
Yeah, I remember, but I want to take you back a few moments before the results. Yeah, what you were feeling when there was not live cells in the quiet? Because I felt that we just made all these tour to England just for nothing.
That was also, I remember also what John said. He said he had not tested the blood before we started with the experiment, if there was at all enough still living cells. And it could have been that we were just performing for nothing, that the blood was basically dead, beyond the point where you can do anything.
But the blood was just fine. It was a sample of human blood just after all the rules and regulations. Everything was fine.
Yeah.
There was just this difference that.
But there was this moment where we thought, oh, maybe he has to get new blood and this would not be possible. And we were in England and the time was limited. But no one knew what would happen.
And he was doing all these things that you can see him doing right
doing
now. He was doing things like that all the time. And going forth and back, and he was measuring, and he was in the other instrument and the counting and saying sounds like, uh-oh, this is not good. And we didn't understand. So we,
And while we giggle around here, John actually is very concentrated to really not spoil the experiment.
Yeah.
Everything is scientifically done with the gloves and everything, so he's very, very concentrated in what he's doing right now.
And there was also a moment, I remember a very specific moment when we did the concert, just like we did now. The first time because I was looking at the blood. There was a little vial in the chamber, and we were sitting much like we are now, and I was looking at the blood, and there was such an intimacy. I was just surprised to give a concert for not human beings or but for blood cells coming from a living human being. There was something, I don't know, something virgin, precious about it in a surprising way. I love that moment. When we, just
I think that John wants to tell us something very important.
Yes. Hi, John.
Is he ready already?
He needs to be unmuted.
John?
He is muted.
He's mute.
Is Jewel unmuting him?
John needs to speak.
Is Jewel there?
Thank you. Well, we've just got the first result. Have you got the camera, my darling? Oh, just okay. The first result from this incubator is actually the same result that we had when you guys were here live.
Wow.
I'm feeling emotion as I'm speaking because this is incredible. The same protocol that's used for recorded music is what I just used, and the cell counter cannot count them. Again, too many cells.
That's such a beautiful.
Exactly. So I'm going to take a photo here, which I can, of the cell counter, which I'm then going to
This is
upload,
amazing.
so you can actually see the results, and it's astonishing. So now I have to go to the Faraday cage and bring out the other vial and do the same thing again with this vial. Now, normally in the Faraday cage, because it's blood that has not been exposed to any music whatsoever, normally we would get a very poor result, basically. And I need to explain a little bit before I go and do that, which is that if you take a vial of blood, and this is, some people I've seen have asked questions, where did this blood come from? Well, it comes from a blood bank, a scientific blood bank, actually, where the blood comes from anonymous donors. These are people that literally line up to have their blood taken for experimentation purposes. So that's where it comes from. We don't know the identity. We don't even know the sex. We don't know anything about it, excepting that it is whole human blood, and it was just taken 2 days ago from the person. So anyway, what I was going to say is that if you take a test tube of blood and measure the numbers of red blood cells in a single milliliter of blood, there will always be literally millions of red blood cells that are alive. There will also be millions that are already dead, and there will be countless more millions that are classed as old in medical speak. So basically, they're on their way out. They've lost their outer cell integrity, okay? So the way that this experiment works is that what we do is we add some stain to the blood after we've diluted it by a particular protocol, because there's too many to count normally. So we dilute it, then we add the stain, and the stain will enter any blood cell that's already dead or any blood cell that is losing its integrity. In other words, the outer membrane of the blood cell is starting to break up. It's not dead, but it's on the way out. The cell counter counts them as dead because the stain can get into that blood cell, even though it's alive, but the outer cell integrity is starting to break up. What happens with the music, we believe, is that within 20 minutes, the sound actually, the music actually heals the outer membrane of the blood cell. And this is all related to additional oxygen that's made available to the blood cell. Where does this oxygen come from? Well, it comes from the blood itself. Yeah. In the blood, you always have a rich source of oxygen. So even in these test tubes, there's lots of oxygen, right? But the oxygen is not available to the hemoglobin molecules in the red blood cells until there is some pressure. And the pressure in this case comes directly from the music. So the music provides the pressure provides more oxygen to the hemoglobin and to the proteins in the outer cell membrane, and that's what causes the healing to happen within 20 minutes. So now I have to go to the Faraday cage and do the other test. And like I say, typically we see a big ratio difference between the blood in this lab incubator and the other incubator in the Faraday cage. So let's just see what we get in this instance. It'll be a few minutes, and then I'll
and John, yeah. It's true that it's the same. It's the blood from the same donor. It's just two vials from the same donor, one in the closet and one that you just described in the music chamber.
Absolutely. So all we do is we take the test tube of blood, comes straight from the blood bank, and we decant that into two smaller test tubes. And you see here, if I show you closer, there is the test tube of blood. Yeah. It's very, very dark red at the bottom, but at the top there's some signs of lighter red. Basically, it's the same blood, and we simply decant it into two smaller test tubes. So it's exactly the same blood, basically. And what we do before we do the counting, we put it onto a little vibrator here, just to make sure that the plasma and the blood itself is all mixed together. So now you see it's starting to become much redder, as you can see, as a result of those low frequencies from the shaker.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's really exciting, isn't it? And so now I got to go and do the same with the Faraday cage blood.
Yeah.
That's such a beautiful. Imagine yourself, hospital, no doctors, only singers, full orchestra singing there. You know, all the illness go away.
Or another, yeah. You also can make a concert and bring to the concert, you know, vial of blood of people from the hospital and
Beautiful.
Well, yeah, I think many of our viewers here will probably not realize that what they call music medicine is now a clinical term. You know, if you look this up online, you'll find that clinicians all over the world are starting to write papers on music medicine. So what it means is that music applied to patients in hospital environments and other clinics and other types of clinical environments, the music is played to the patients, but there's no intervention by what you would call a music therapist, an expert who understands about the relationship between music and the consciousness, of people, the emotions of people. So you don't need a music therapist in this particular instance. It's simply the biological effect of the music on the patient. So there's obviously some emotional response because the patient will love the particular music that they're listening to. So that's one aspect. But the other aspect is the biological, the physiological effect of the musical frequencies on our biology. And this is called music medicine. And as I mentioned, in my little introduction, sages from the ancient times right up to modern times have been saying about the power of music. Pythagoras is one of the first people to mention that it can be used instead of medicine. So here we are, all these thousands of years later, and we're doing just that. So it is really exciting. All right, I must get on now and do the other.
Yeah. I'm really
And
curious what will be happening with the other one now.
And the impact of it, that was a very good question, CP, by the way. Remember that I think the question was, is the impact of the field, is that electromagnetic?
yeah.
Or not? That's a very good question.
Yeah, because the place that there is no music, it's protected from electromagnetic field. So the question is if our intention, is electromagnetic, or if
Yeah, but imagine if the blood that was in the Faraday cage, if that comes out and is also alive now, then it means that our intentions went through the cage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because if we managed, if all of us online now, if we, with our combined intention and the love we sent to the blood and through the field, the impact of the field, my feeling is that it could be that the impact of the field is not so selective that it goes here but not there.
It doesn't stop.
I don't know, but my feeling is that this penetrates, or rather, I think that I have a feeling that there's something like entanglement happening, that we connect with the blood, all of us from around the world, and that means this entanglement has nothing to do with physiological shielding the field. This is a different field we're talking about here. And I'm just curious, I don't know, but this is my feeling.
The Faraday cage is part of the field.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, as you said, the Cacina, that there is a person, we don't know him now, that he got all the music that you were singing for 20 minutes. We don't know which country, what he's doing, but maybe he suddenly feels so happy and you don't know why.
That's going to be our next experiment that we're going to have off to the side. We're going to monitor and ask this person that has participated, her or his blood, to be part of the experiment, but be perhaps a part, and then see and ask them and interview them scientifically about their experience This would be really, really interesting.
Yeah.
I see a new trip coming up, Tippi. Oh my God, do you see what John is doing? I really wonder what's happening with the cage blood.
And it's very interesting what
God.
John explained, I feel, because it's a little bit technical, but I understand that when you take a little bit of blood, in order for this to have a number of cells that you can count and not just millions, you dilute this. I mean, you put, I think, 9 times water and 1 times blood or something. You put a lot of water in, so you dilute it after a very specific protocol that is that is worked through with John's collaborator, partner, Dr.
Sun
Junji.
I speak Chinese.
Yes, and it's really interesting that when the cell counter says, please dilute further, too many cells, that's the message that we experienced when we were at John's laboratory. And it took me a while to understand.
But I still didn't hear John scream, because remember, Tippi, when we were there for the first time, and he was measuring the blood that had gotten the music. First he said, this cannot be right, this cannot be right. And then all of a sudden he was like, because it was a moment really in history. This hadn't happened. That was
the first,
so amazing.
Yeah, there was.
So I didn't hear him today. He just said, no, we got the same result.
I remember that John took the Faraday cage blood first.
Yeah.
When we did the movie, isn't that true, Tippi?
Yeah. Today he did it the opposite, and I remember that when we were there, that's what he said, that we have to make it the opposite. That's what he said. But it's nice that today it's the same results, even if he did the opposite way. I mean, start with the
other blood.
The music
yeah.
blood, yeah.
Exactly.
How is it for you, Tippi, to do this experiment again, now from afar? us being in a different... Yes, I mean, isn't this exciting?
Yeah, it's very interesting, exciting and interesting, to get the same results. It's so nice. I mean, it's, again, you know, in science you say all the time that you have to repeat, So here it's the second time we're repeating, but it's, again, it's not... But we have to say that today it's not the same, because today it was not live, but was many people at the same time were giving intention to the blood, which this is something we didn't do before.
Yes. I think this is exciting because it was certainly live.
Yes.
But what was the difference? The difference was that we were thousands of people from around the world. We were not us physically in the laboratory with John. We were many of us combined, unified in one intention to sending love to the blood in the same way we did, Cacina and I, when we were there. And that indicates that maybe distance doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That is the really interesting.
Look at John.
I think John is ready. Oh my God, what's he doing?
You have to unmute. You have to unmute.
Unmute John. Unmute.
So,
unmute John.
Intention is not electromagnetic.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm in tears here because the result is just extraordinary. How can this be?
What? We told you.
Exactly.
Intention is not Hi, Annalise.
Hi, Annalise.
Hi.
Tell us, John.
Tell us.
Hi, Annalise.
Tell us.
Exactly the same protocol, right? Everybody. I took a photograph of the screen of the cells, from the music incubator, just so we can post them online later, and show you guys. And now I've done followed exactly the same protocol from the Faraday cage blood. And again, it's saying the same thing, over concentration, too many blood cells.
So
the quiet environment, and it's shielded electromagnetically. So I just it's just astonishing. What this means is, I mean, I'm going to look at different parts of the slide to be absolutely certain, because you can zoom in on different areas of the slide, you know. But on this particular area of the slide, there's an over concentration, meaning too many red blood cells to count. So, you know, what I said when you guys were here, you know, with us in the lab, was that we really need to redesign the protocol for live music, right? For live music, because all the tests that I had conducted up to that point were with recorded music. Live music produced a completely different result, as you know, because it is completely different to recorded music. And the blood knows it, right? The blood knows it. Anyway, so here we are, no live music. This is recorded music. Okay, it's a nice sounding music. Yeah, I know everyone was holding their intention though. This is the difference.
Yeah.
That was the
This
thing.
is recorded music, which should provide the same, should work with the same protocol that Professor G and I devised and we've used many times, okay? Now, with the combined intention of everyone that is on this call, the result is absolutely, well, it's off the scale, basically. They come to our mountain. So I'm just going to zoom into another couple of areas of the slide just to be absolutely sure that it's not in just one area.
I have a question, John.
Yeah, sure.
Do you have some more of this, the same blood?
Yeah, we've got lots of it.
So if you will measure now about the blood, but maybe it fit in the same room, maybe it got also the music. So what's, if you take the blood,
We have to watch
Different
out now
symbol of
because
the blood.
yeah, another blood. I mean, another vial of the same blood.
Oh, I would need
And
to
you
warm it up. It's all in the, if you have a look here, it's in the fridge. Right?
Oh, okay.
It's kept in the fridge. So we need to first, we warm it up to room temperature first, then we put it into the incubator and warm it up to 37 degrees.
there's a protocol.
If you'll do it tomorrow, just tell us the results.
Yeah, we'll do it. I'll definitely do it. Let me just have a zoom in.
Yeah, but maybe our intention went into the fridge.
Ah, okay.
But that's extremely. She knows the result and she need to ask it again, okay?
No, that's why we're making
think-
many experiments, no? We have to ask questions. We don't know.
I think
Yes. Oh my God.
I think we are about to create history because
this is already.
our question has been answered. I think
Everywhere. See, these are
it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
right.
John says it's everywhere.
We should call you Dr. Anders after we saw all of this, you know? You can sing all over and we're gonna call you Doctor and Dr. Cacina. It's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. Toda.
I'm traveling and singing to blood all over the world.
Oh my God. Oh my God. But I mean, if you think about for a moment what that means, that the Faraday cage really is completely quiet. It isolated the blood from the music. So it didn't certainly get any music. All it got is the intention from whoever you are, from wherever you are in the world.
From all of you guys.
All of you focusing on that. That went into this Faraday cage. And the result is just as much as the other one that got the I mean, God, how exciting is
I
this?
just want to see. I would say congratulations
To all of you.
to all of you guys. you did it.
God.
I think we're making history here.
Yeah, of course. We have an excited Englishman. Alone that is history.
Hi guys, you
just-
did it.
To all of you.
I just looked at other areas of the slide and it's the same result. So you can zoom into different parts of the slide and each part of the slide is showing the same result, basically too many red blood cells to count,
My God.
even in the quiet environment. So I'm absolutely flabbergasted. Looks like we have to redesign our protocol again.
Again.
Oh, it's
Oh,
amazing, absolutely amazing. And as you've all been saying, you know, it's thanks to all of the combined intentions of all of you. So thank you so much for this wonderful result. And it now shows that the electromagnetic screening of the Faraday cage does not work for intention. You know, this is one of the areas that I was really puzzled. I've been puzzled by for a long time, actually, asking that question, but never really finding, you know, an experimental design that could test it. And now we've
oh my
just done
God.
exactly that. We've tested it, and that's the result. So thank you all, you know, for your participation in sending love to this blood, because the blood thanks you as well, by the way.
My God.
Okay.
Wow.
That's such a
That's
beautiful.
fantastic.
Incredible. Oh,
That
and
is
thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
I
Oh
think
my
we're writing
God.
history today.
It's been
Thank
a
you, all
huge
of
pleasure,
you. No,
know,
John, all
and,
of you, all the people that sing, you guys, and you. Wow, it's such a beautiful. And CP for sure, the one and the only one. Such a wow.
I'd also like to thank, if I may, just for a moment, I would like to thank CP, because without CP, none of this would have been possible, of course. I would also like to thank Anders and Cacina for their wonderful contribution this evening and in the past. And also
glad.
my son, James Stuart Reid, for all the wonderful
Yes.
thing that he's done.
Oh, yes.
Also, the blood and other equipment that we have here has been sponsored by Cyma Technologies in the USA, who make some wonderful sound therapy devices, and also by the College of Sound Healing in the UK, who's doing wonderful work, you know, introducing people to sound healing. So thank you all for your support.
Oh, pleasure.
וואו, איזה התרגשות, זה היה ללא ספק ההיילייט של היום הזה, ושוב אני אומרת, גם ההיילייט של הסרט, אוקיי? זה לא יעזור שום דבר, מבחינתי זו הנקודה שבה אנחנו ממש מוכיחים הלכה למעשה את הקשר בין המדע לבין התודעה, אוקיי? ובין ההשפעה שלנו. תראו מרחוק על טיפת דם, זה וואו, מרגש. האם מורן איתנו? יס, מורן. ראית את זה?
בוודאי, of course I saw it. It's absolutely incredible and historic to see this unfold before our eyes. I didn't even know that it's going to really happen live. Just because, how can you fathom something as far-fetched as that? But I have to say that time after time, and you like to say every time you watch the movie, you learn something new, which is hands down true. But every time I come on this, doesn't matter how prepared I think I am or that I know what's going to happen, there's no way, but literally I'm elevated every time at being alive right now while we can witness science and art and music and vibrations of Earth's frequencies, which is universal. I mean, this is really just a huge honor to be alive in these times. Wow. So absolutely an honor. And I've also got lots of vibrations starting around here that I think
אני רציתי לשאול אותך אם את מסתדרת עם כל הוויברציות האלה של יום כדור הארץ. ראית כמה עניינים יש לנו בשידורים? אנחנו בדרך כלל רצים בפלואנט פה היום. מלא אנרגיות. זה מטורף לחלוטין מה שקורה היום.
Yes, today, Earth Day, I think, you know, I've been celebrating Earth Day since I was at the oldest 7 years old, when I was taken to my first Earth Day. And watching it today, this year is 51 years since they started in 1970 in San Francisco. And to see, even last year with Corona, having had the first Earth Day being virtual, to this year, I don't know about you, but there are millions of people around the world today focusing their energies on healing Mother Earth, on reconnecting humanity back to our source, to the waters, to the rivers, to the sky, to the earth, to the wind, to the energy fields. And here we are, bridging generations of wisdom, generations of philosophy, and finally having the science to prove it. And even this is growing time after time, month after month, meeting after meeting, broadcast after broadcast. And yeah, I have chills as I say it. This is about the 17th time I have chills already. But yes, really, really moving.
And this could be the start of a new paradigm in medicine. This is, so exciting. I mean, to have a drug-free medicine for the future, that would be, well, humanity would be on a much better track than, pumping chemicals into our bodies, for sure.